your face. Oh, we're recording. Hello, everyone. It is episode 73. We dubbed this the best episode of all time. We have our normal and our most popular and our most beautiful host. Of course, I am Sir KingBrett. We have Sir Tork Penderloin. How are you out there, buddy?
Best day of my life. I am here with you, beacons of positivity. I'm just stoked to be here, guys. I'm really excited for today.
Dude, I'm happy you're here. I'm even more happy that you're repping the best team in all the NBA, but don't look by our record. And Banana Mac, I have to say it's the best look Banana Mac's ever had in the history of our podcast.
I mean,
how are you?
I'm living life. I'm eating queso, repping the Mavs, rocking crowns. I've changed my whole life around since going to the Texas State Fair.
Let's go. Oh, you weren't at the State Fair because then you would have seen me. So that's cheating.
I was helping you out. Did you not see me?
Oh, that's why I sold so much, because there were two of us.
Yeah, maybe you looked in the mirror and was like, oh, that looks exactly like me.
It's like, man, look at all that beautiful gray hair. It looks so beautiful.
Exactly.
Speaking of someone that doesn't have gray hair, and is also the epitome of youth, the epitome of top shot knowledge, the man, the myth, our special guest. He's trying not to smile. Jacob Eisenberg, let's go!
What up, buddy? Good to see you all. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. No big deal. We love having you on. What are you talking about? This is exciting.
I love coming on, and no better time than start of the season to talk shop, catch up, talk some NBA. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited that you're excited because we have 92 questions and we have 60 minutes. So good luck. Banana, go.
Rookies. Stack them rooks. I see that background. Are we going to talk about rookies?
We better.
It's a great place to start.
I mean, I think it's where we have to, right?
So go. Rookie draft class. What's happening? The new look season?
Well, so some of you may know, some may not. About a decade ago, I was scouting professionally. I was working for Draft Express, and I was going regionally in the Northeast, looking up prospects and kind of evaluating talent. And that was, I think, 2 years or maybe a year after the Anthony Bennett class, where everyone just talked about how bad the draft class was and how lackluster it was going to be and how bad all those rookies were. And, you know, now we are here 10, 11 years later, and we got Giannis in that class. We got Rudy Gobert in that class. So my big takeaway is when people talk about how good a class is or how bad a class is, they're often learning informed opinions from others. So if Draft Express or at that point in time, Mike Schmidt said so-and-so is a stud or so-and-so is going to be a bust, the next podcaster or host or analyst would kind of take that opinion and share it as well. And then it became a narrative kind of spread throughout the NBA world. And I think no better example of that than Markelle Fultz kind of shooting up the draft boards and how he came into that year as probably the fifth guy on the board. And by, midway through the season, he was unanimous number one, except for one person, Danny Ainge, who saw Jason Tatum as the clear best player in the class, pulled off a great trade on draft night. But also to say, when we're talking about rookies, I think it's fair to say this rookie class was much maligned going into the summer. The class last year didn't have a ton of hype. And we saw it, right? We saw it on Twitter. We saw it in conversation. People talking about this class doesn't have a Wemby. So how are people going to get excited about rookies on TopShot this season? Well, we'll fast forward and we've got some good rookies. And the reality is, I don't think people know what they're talking about because this class has at least 10 to 20 guys that I have pretty high conviction are going to be NBA starters at some point, right? And we can talk about the obvious ones, right? Zach Edey, who's already an NBA starter. Reed Shepherd, who's looking really promising and puts a little bit of that, like, be it Trae Young, Mark Price, Steph Curry flavor on it. But then you even go down the boards, right? And you got guys like Tristan Da Silva, who I think are going to be really, really solid. I see a lot of like Chandler Parsons, maybe not Dallas Mavericks era Chandler Parsons, but perhaps Houston Rockets era Chandler Parsons out of him. So all to say, I think the class is exciting. The drop itself was unique and exciting in its own way, right? The play coming soon allows us to kind of capitalize on opening night of the NBA season. And then needless to say, you've got, besides KingBrett and Banana Mac on the call, you got more royalty in the TopShot community this season now that we have Bronny James in the picture. And excited to see what he does, including this week in Cleveland, because that's going to be a big moment.
First off, tremendous parallel between 10 years ago and this year's rookie class. And I think obviously from, just a purely basketball perspective standpoint, on the surface, maybe this class doesn't seem, because they don't have a Wemby or a Chet for that matter. But from a collectability standpoint, I think it's a lot more fun this year because you don't have two clear front runners that people are going to be stacking. And then some people just can't. I couldn't stack Wemby's last year. I have one, but I mean, that's great. But I mean, I was never going to compete in that regard. But I can use kind of like I love college basketball. And so I love seeing these guys kind of come up. And I love these like kind of dark horse guys that Jamal Shed, for example, a guy that's lives nearby or from nearby. And so I'm kind of waiting on him to come out. But if you start stacking these guys early, it could be really beneficial if you're trying to play the game of redeeming them for gems and then doing the rookie revelation leaderboard, which kind of leads me into a question. Are we expecting the same format this year as we did last year for the rookies and the burn leaderboards?
Yeah, I think very similar in terms of being able to trade in your commons to get the rares and then being able to trade in your rares to get the legendaries. In terms of the exact format, as you probably are aware, we're moving to a ASP-based trade-in auction style. So that'll work very similarly, especially for these rookies, as kind of the volume-based boards we had last season. But, minor differences there. As far as kind of everything else that involves these rookies, I think we're going to look to reward collectors throughout the season. We're already talking to some of these rookies about how can we get them more involved in the platform. So lots of rewards involved.
I like rewards. I like being rewarded.
I love that you guys included them in flash challenges over the weekend. By the way, a lot of folks in the community are very, very happy. If you haven't heard already about bringing back the MSFE, kudos on that. Once again, I absolutely love the fact that you are requiring locking rookies, and I just hope to see more of that going forward for the flash challenges. Just going to throw that out there.
Definitely. I mean, I think one of the big mantras you're going to see this season, and we've been talking about a lot internally, is let's just have fun. Let's throw the community a lot of things that they're going to get excited about and have fun with. So everything from these flash challenges, and that's kind of the genesis of why we're bringing back MSFE, to really expanding kind of the prize pool and the ways to engage with fast break, to maybe you're going to see some flash leaderboards coming soon.
Whoa.
What?
You obviously, we're going to get into it a little bit later, but the virtual hangouts with athletes and just being able to meet your favorite players, like there's a lot of really fun things kind of cooking up, and then some things kind of up our sleeves that I can't divulge yet because we're still working on them.
I mean, you just choose not to at this juncture.
That's true. This juncture is the ultimate. There will be a later juncture to discuss.
I've been trying to work the word juncture into conversation, so I'm glad I hit my quota for the day of saying juncture. I love that you said we're gonna have fun, because at the end of the day, like that's what this vibe is. That's what this is about. Like, collecting shouldn't be not having fun. You should be having fun while collecting. And I know that's always been the premise, and I know that over the past, people have looked at it more towards like, I need to make money, and it's all about the money. But the people that are listening, the people that are watching, the people that are still collecting, they're in it because they're having fun. They love collecting. They love the product. They love the people. So I love that that's on the forefront of the community's mindset, is having fun along the way of making some really cool moments and really cool players and really cool sets as well.
Yeah, totally. And look, I think last season we did a lot of things right as far as like the weekly thematic drops and getting people to come back. But I think there was still kind of a lacking evergreen engagement layer to the platform, which we're really trying to solve this year. So you're seeing it kind of in the first 2 weeks, but these arcade packs where we're able to kind of provide real utility and real chases for people in these packs without necessarily overinflating the high-end supply, right? These are we're doing it in a way that's super cognizant of community's best interests and making sure that everyone can have entertainment. But beyond just like having them available for sale, which is obviously helpful for someone coming to TopShot on, say, a random Sunday and coming to a site where there's nothing to do, nothing to buy. Now there is something, but beyond that, for everyone on this call, the very engaged people in our community, there's also something to do in terms of earning, using the moments from your collection, trading them in and getting more packs, and trading them in, maybe getting some Dapper balance week to week. So what we're seeing there is, if you go to the challenge page today, obviously the Run It Back challenges have just ended, but we have a bunch of arcade challenges going on. You can trade in a rare, you can get an arcade pack. You can trade in some commons, you can get an arcade pack. You can trade in a legendary, you can get a bunch of arcade packs. There are just lots of ways to kind of find utility with your existing collection, and hopefully that will kind of not only give you reasons to keep collecting and adding more to your collection, but it will also give you more ways to kind of trim your collection, prune your collection, and get stuff you're really interested in.
So we can definitely expect more, like, hey, redeem X amount. What was it, the 25 moments for $10 in Dapper? We can expect more of that going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think for us, it's about, let's see, how can we make sure that this is leading to positive impact? And by impact, we mean getting more people to collect, getting more people to enjoy the platform, play fast break. But generally speaking, our North Star is just getting as many people coming back week over week and having a good time again. And that's what this kind of season is all about, because I think there were things like the thematic drops last season where we saw, you can drop packs and we can play around with prices. And 1 week it might be a $19 pack, and 1 week it might be a $39 pack. And the collectors are going to come out and kind of evaluate the EV of the pack, so to speak. And that's fine. But how much more fun would it be if we just kind of standardized a lot of it and put all of our attention into throwing the best party in town and having an incredible experience on the platform? So that's what we're going to do this season. You're going to see a lot more simplicity in terms of, we're going to have our weekly premium offering, and some weeks that may be a draw. Some weeks it might be first come, first serve, like you saw with rookie debut. You might also see scenarios where the drops are less set specific and more timeliness relevant. So if there was a massive throwdown and there was a massive game winner last week, those could end up in the same premium offering, right? Which will allow collectors who want to collect sets to be able to add to them one by one, rather than getting 5 at a time and having to feel pressure to kind of do that all in urgent haste.
Yeah, I love that.
So under the idea of standardization and I guess one might call it leveling the playing field or making it accessibility, the idea behind the new TSS system, what are some of the things that you were hoping that it will, how will you think it will positively impact the economy going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think the number one thing is exactly the leveling of the playing field. So try explaining TopShot score to a new user and all the different edge cases of, well, ASP for this moment is based on the last 3 sales. ASP for that moment is based on the last 10 sales, whatever it may have been, right? There were just so many different edge cases. Yeah. And there was an impossibility to it where a lot of collectors that are active and had been active for the past 2 years just never stood a chance to rise the ranks and leaderboard. So it is true. There is a massive kind of stabilization or normalization of what the scores are, and they look lower than they did a few weeks ago. At the same time, in terms of, we've gotten a number of kind of inbound requests to evaluate, like, how did my TopShot score change compared to others? And overwhelmingly, the result is you're pretty much exactly where you were in terms of global ranking to before, especially amongst the active users. And we can say confidently with the analysis we did, people that are actively on the whole benefited more because they were able to rise up. They've been spending in recent years compared to the OGs of early 2020 or 2021 that had these outsized TopShot scores, not necessarily based on the moments they bought, but based on kind of what they were ASPing at their peak.
I love that too, the keyword of active users, right? Because that's been the battle of, the OGs who have got this amazing collection and just chill and reap rewards versus the people that are actively competing in challenges or buying moments and collecting new sets. And so as a community, like I already say, that's a huge win. I haven't looked at my TopShot score since the change because I'm just imagining it still being at 500,000 because that would be awesome. And I've also been working a lot, but I know based on talking to other people that exactly what you said. It equates to the same thing, just a number change, but like where you rank doesn't necessarily change comparatively, especially if you've been collecting, which I think is most exciting for me. And then the second aspect I just wanted to bring up, I woke up and got like 6 emails or 7 emails like, you've been airdropped, you've been airdropped, you've been airdropped. I love the emails. I love it telling me, so I don't like, wow, I sold something, or wow, I bought something, like randomly finding out. But I have to say, like, the challenges, the stuff you've been doing, the ways that y'all been thinking out of the box, like Tork brought up, trading in moments for Dapper, being able to do 20 of these or 1 legendary. I just want to applaud the team for giving people more options to still collect and still compete and still trade in. Because I know in the past it's felt kind of stifled. Well, I don't have 20 of these, so I guess I just can't do it. Like you said, if it's a new collector coming in, it's got to be an amazing feeling. Because I think back to when I started, of like standing in the woods trying to get in queue of like 50,000 people, and there's like 100 packs, right? And now, like, being able to come in, there's a challenge reward for every type of collector. There's a challenge of this. There's easy ways to complete sets. Like, I just want to applaud and say great job to you and the whole team, because TopShot's completely changed from when I started to now. And in most ways, I'd have to say for the absolute better for the collector and the program and TopShot in general. So I've been away a while. I just wanted to say, like, King approved.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, as far as we're concerned, we are very much just getting started with this season. And a lot of kind of the things that today you see maybe getting duct taped together of really cool kind of experiences, be it the trade-in for Dapper, or be it trade-in your rare for an arcade pack, or even just what you see now on the arcade pack when it's live, being able to hunt for the grails and kind of see what's going on. Like, that experience in our eyes it'll only get better from here. There are a lot of low-hanging fruits to optimize it. There are a lot of ways where if you go to the page, why can't you do all of your activity from one page rather than having to navigate around 6 different pages, right? So be it the pack page, allowing you to trade in directly there, or use trade tickets directly from there, whatever it may be, right? Long term, I don't want to speculate too much, but
okay, you can though. It's fine. We won't stop you. I mean,
at this juncture, I'll pause myself.
Oh, let's go, juncture.
But we'll get back to some more speculation later in the call, I'm sure.
Feels like, though, the evening out of the TSS system, it allows for more like 1-to-1 burn leaderboards, kind of like, some of the rookies y'all did last year with the gems trading up. It wasn't TSS score. It was just 1-to-1, which I like personally. But no, not to completely go back to it, but no, I'm a very big fan, because not to say that there are a lot of nefarious actors out there, but somebody who might want to manipulate the market and lock a bunch of moments within the next 10 sales, you can't do that anymore. So I feel a lot better as a collector trying to play the game straight up that's not going on. So kudos on that for sure.
Yeah, and I think for us, when it comes to trade-in auctions, formerly known as burn leaderboards, like, having ASP be the kind of great equalizer and all, it benefits everyone, right? Because we're going to put prizes up, and the person that burns the most value, right? Unambiguous, universal, most value. So be it this person burned 10,000 commons, or they burned 5 legend, whatever it is, but it's always going to equate out to the person that burned the most value, and therefore everyone wins in the process, because more stuff is getting burned and more deflation's happening, and collections and scarcity are kind of improving in the process.
Mac, you like burning, don't you?
Yeah, the burns have me pretty hyped up. But now I'm like, how do I run my burns when there's arcade packs going? Much better grails to chase.
Let's talk about it. Let's get you some arcade packs. I think that's the easiest way to do it.
Let's do it.
Done deal.
I get it.
Problem solved.
I get excited when I see the NBATopShot buyback is out there buying moments. Gets me a little hyped, especially last year's rookies getting put in those packs.
I'm so excited about just the power of arcade packs, or if we end up kind of, I think the whole process, the whole experience of that evergreen flow is the arcade. Whether these are arcade packs long-term, remains to be seen. I think there's an argument to be made. It could be a little bit more self-explanatory for someone newer coming in. But think about just in terms of like inspiring the imagination for a second. The thematic of arcade packs can change every given week, every given night. So if Paolo Banchero goes off for 50 points as he did this week, well, what would it look like if we just kind of put a ton of Paolo Banchero legendaries in the pack that night? And now you can chase Palos.
I think you should. I will buy them now.
What would it look like if a player is coming up for, they get named to their first All-Star game? Can we make the packs thematic to that player that night? A team goes on a massive win streak. Can we kind of lean into that team's players' moments, right? Whatever it may be. So, I don't want to give away too much alpha there, but think about just, one example of it, which we were a little too late with the tech to be able to really capitalize on it. But when the Netflix show Starting Five came out last month, right?
Ooh.
What if we just had packs that had those starting five as like the main centerpiece? And the beauty of it is there's no cap on the number of packs we can create for it, because it's always going to be benefiting the collector, and supply and demand need to be in balance there. And we actually see a really positive kind of correlation right now. People are going to be able to earn these packs via trading in their moments. They're going to be able to buy these packs. It's a win-win for everyone. And if we're able to kind of provide utility and that always on excitement of whenever something big's happening on the NBA stage, collectors know they can come to TopShot and engage in a really unique way. That's kind of what we're all about here.
Does that maybe tie into, say, how you guys worked with the NBA ID and did the pack drop earlier in the year? Are you guys like looking at any future initiatives? Seems like you guys might be working a little more hand in hand with the NBA this year. Is there anything to that?
100%. I think deeper integrations with the league is a really big priority for us. So you're going to see those NBA ID packs coming back very soon. We've optimized the flow, make it a little smoother for those coming from the web. But beyond that, talking to them about some really exciting things. And needless to say, we had Larry Bird on for a virtual appearance very recently, and we're going to have some more NBA legends coming on pretty soon. Can't guarantee they're all on the Larry Bird stature, but I'll give some alpha that we just locked in a guy that will be announced very soon. Not at this juncture on this call.
Oh,
for kind of context, this guy was at one point in time a top 3 MVP finalist, a really, really strong player, and a fan favorite for a fan base that had a lot of success led by this guy. So
Sean Mashburn.
Can you tell me where he went to college?
I can't. That's
going to give it away.
Fair enough. Okay, I had to try. I mean,
I respect the effort. I will say he is a very entertaining character, and we're
very good.
I have so many ideas.
So you mentioned rookies doing virtual hangouts. Will these hangouts be tied to favorite team leaderboards, individual player leaderboards, both? And I'm sorry to tie another question to this. Can we expect any kind of favorite team locking in the future?
Yeah. So good questions. I think the recipe we have been doing has been affording us the flexibility to reward a bunch of different types of cohorts. So the team leaderboard, but specifically you have to have that team as your favorite team to get the invite, right? So that kind of negates any need for the team locking today, because we're able to kind of just identify who are the biggest fans of this team that have identified that way. And by doing it on a more surprise and delight basis, people can't front run and say, okay, I'm going to jump to this team to get the invite.
I love that.
You have the trade-in auctions where you can really earn your spot. I didn't get picked. Well, now you can put your quote unquote money where your mouth is. If you really want to be in that event, you can kind of trade in for it. And then player leaderboard, when the player does have an ample number of TopShot moments and it makes sense to kind of reward those top collectors of that player. There are going to be instances where the player might not have a moment, or might only have one moment, and it's a archive moment, whatever it may be. And in that case, maybe we're not going to be as kind of heavy on that board. But point being, yes, there are going to be a bunch of different ways to get the invite to these. And as soon as kind of the revamped trade-in auctions are ready to go, that's going to be just a big part of the experience for everyone.
I love that y'all have changed the vernacular from like just burn all the time to trade in or the auctions, because I have a hard time burning things except fires. But I love auctions. So now I'm anti-burn, but I'm pro auctions. And I'm pretty sure you're tricking me because it's the same thing, but I feel way better about doing it. So thank you. Also, I'm pretty sure you used the word cohorts earlier, and I just want to applaud that because that was a wonderful choice.
Awesome. Well,
You're welcome.
Brett, you're just so generous with your praise. It's very flattering.
I'm trying to butter you up so you slip some more goody news, some more alpha about Sean Mashburn being the player. I guess let's talk about that because that's a pretty freaking amazing thing. Being able to hang out with one of your favorite players virtually, especially one of the best NBA players, in my opinion, of all time. Do you want to, I'm sure they may have questions. Do you want to just walk, how'd that even happen? How'd you create the idea? It sounds like it's something we're going to continue doing moving forward. So, just kind of walk us through that. Because I know a lot of people don't know how or why it happened. They just knew it happened. And they're like, dang it, I wish that was me, which is what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea has been around from us for a long time, right? We know that the fans have a great experience. And I think we've tried a few different permutations of it in the past. One was what if we invited everyone and they can kind of raise their hand and try to get on stage? And we did that a couple seasons ago with the likes of, I believe, Nate Robinson and Detlef Schrempf. But the reality is when it is open to everyone and there are 50 to 500 people in the room, it feels way less special and way less intimate.
Yeah.
So the stream that we have right now, it's 4 of us. We can see each other's faces. Imagine that. Maybe we double the size of the room, triple the size of the room. It's still intimate enough that if we have a legend on, everyone's going to be able to get their questions in and feel a big part of that experience. And so what we've done, I think we started with Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy was one of the guys that got into TopShot last season. We were really excited to partner up with him. And he is really focused on kind of identifying and giving back to his top fans, and TopShot was a great forum for him to do that. And I think with him in particular, we just saw, oh, this really works, right? You get 12 to 15 people in a room and you pepper the athlete with questions. They're comfortable. They're having a good time. They're more open than they'd be in an interview kind of that's public. So we did that with him. And then we did it with Miles Turner shortly thereafter. And Miles Turner, kind of improv MTP Cribs, just showing us his house, and took us to his collection room where he had a life-size Darth Vader.
No way!
Legitimately 6'8", and he stood back to back with it to show us just how big it was. And,
that's awesome.
So those are the money can't buy experiences that we really want to provide. And I think what we're seeing is athletes are super down to take 30, 45 minutes when they're on the road in particular to hang out with their top fans. And I think initially when we were thinking of how do we really connect players with their top fans, the IRL was a flashier, cooler kind of initial concept because there's nothing like meeting someone in person. We all know that. Sure. But at the same time, we also saw when you do that and the amount of time and effort you put into it, you almost need it to be open to a much bigger audience to make it worth all the effort that goes into it. And then at that point, it becomes way less personal. So I remember Tork hanging out with Tyrese Halliburton in, I believe, 2022. And that was a great experience. And that was, Tyrese is one of the most personable guys out there. But that's still a very kind of hurried experience compared to being able to jump on a call and just chat, and the athletes warming up and they know that these are their top fans. So they really want to go above and beyond to be personable and excited to be there.
So are you guys trying to get someone from every team? Is that the goal? Or are you going for most popular players? Do you guys have a method to the madness?
There's a little bit of both going on. I think the most important thing is we want players that want to be there. We want players that care about their top fans and see the power of TopShot being a kind of mechanism for them to interact and engage. I would say when it comes to specific players, we are identifying the fan bases that are the biggest on TopShot. So thankfully for everyone on this call, the Raptors and the Mavs are 2 of the bigger fan bases on TopShot. So those are our teams with, players that we might be able to kind of work things out with.
Let's go, Dirk. Sorry, I coughed.
But yeah, I mean, there are certainly other teams where there are, just generally way fewer fans of that team today on the platform. So one could look at that as a reason not to do it. And one could also look at that as an opportunity for us to see, well, if we test this out, can we bring in more fans from that fan base to the platform? So there is some method to the madness right now, but we're still in the early stages of just figuring out what's working best. I think we like the variety of ways to invite and earn your spot into the event. And then we are also liking, obviously, that the players that are jumping on are so engaged and excited to be there, because that obviously makes a big world of difference. And then we're going to look to record these and kind of chop them up, put them on YouTube, put them in the queue when you're lining up to buy your packs, kind of make that experience feel that much more tangible, and you can see the magic that's happening. Because to Brett's point initially, you are kind of hearing about it, but you're not seeing it firsthand, so you don't know just how engaged they are. And when you do see it, it really does open your eyes to how, this could be the next level of NBA entertainment.
It's all the utility.
Go ahead, Mac.
I just love the utility of it. I love that I'm collecting and I'm getting something like out of my collection. And it's experience that when you explain it to people, I think it makes them want to collect. I have friends who don't realize the benefits of TopShot until they're sitting with me at a Raptors game. And they're like, oh, that's kind of sick what you're doing. Like, it makes sense to people, right?
Definitely. No, I think, and the more we can do that, the more we can kind of, there aren't many places that have ever been able to do it. And I think our platform and the product technology obviously affords for it, but the experience overall can't just simply be about coming in and trying to kind of win the pack. And then if you do win the pack, do I put it on the pack marketplace or do I rip the pack? It needs to be
always rip it.
Rip.
Never sell. Always rip it.
100% agree though, Jacob. And speaking of going to games, Mac, I noticed that All Day worked with Ticketmaster and they did some kind of in-game activations. Can we expect anything like that from TopShot? Maybe not this year, but in the future.
So I will say that the partnership with Ticketmaster on the NFL side has been incredible so far. We're really excited about how that's going. They share a very similar kind of interests to us of how can we just make the fan experience better? How can we add to it? And what we're seeing on the NFL side is, very personalized experience and then a very personalized collectible to match that experience. So I can't say one way or the other of like when it will come for the NBA, but I can say with confidence that we certainly hope it comes. And we're going to work with, our partners to try to make that happen as soon as possible. Again, don't aggregate this into it's coming this season, but it's definitely our interest. And we know we have the same kind of North Star as our partners on this, which is how do we reward the fans and meet them where they are?
I have so many things to say and there's not enough time. I will condense it very quickly for you, Jacob. One, I love the fact that you realize IRL events are what people really love. And it is one of the most impactful things that I feel TopShot can have, whether they promote that internally within markets, do smaller stuff or big events. But I love the fact that y'all realize that, man, how many more people can we impact by having a smaller group of multiple teams and multiple people from across the nation have an interaction with an NBA player. Like, I love that. It gives more opportunity. It gets people more excited because it's not like, oh, I'm not a blank fan, so I guess I'm not even going to try. They're like, oh, I love Shaq, dude. I'm in. Shaq's going to be the next guy, like you said earlier, Jacob. We all heard you. So I think that's really awesome. I love that y'all are doing that. A couple random things, just as you were talking, it popped in my head. I'm sure you've already thought of it because I'm not original at all. But imagine, like, say, for instance, it's Shaq, right? I really want it to be Dirk, right? Let's use Dirk because he's the best. Say it's like a Dirk thing and it's a Dirk moment. How amazing would it be if that call that got recorded had a snippet in that moment of him with those people on the call, just like a little flash?
Yeah.
Whoa. And what if you bought a ticket to go to see the Mavs on Ticketmaster and it came with a moment from that game or from the Dallas Mavs? Whoa.
I mean,
that's it.
I don't know about y'all. I used to keep ticket stubs from every game I went to, like the old Reunion Arena. Like, I mean, they punched that thing, and before Mark Cuban got all those electronic scanners, and you could sneak in and stuff. Anyway, never did any of that. Of course, my friends did. But no, like, so I think maybe a digital version of like a ticket stub, whether that's a moment or some kind of a keepsake that you can remember the game by, is more than just the memory itself. I think that's obviously a pretty solid opportunity. I would look forward to collecting something like that for sure.
Just random thoughts.
No, I love them. I think those are all great thoughts. And I mean, we're already seeing it on the NFL side. So, I think there's a lot of potential there, and we're going to continue to kind of take some learnings there, optimize the process, optimize the flow, figure out how we can best kind of give back to the fans where they are.
So far, so good this season. Question for you. Are you looking forward to any rookies dropping this year? Are you got your eyes on anybody that you're collecting?
Yeah, I think for me, I want to give it another month and see where Risachet and Alex Sarr kind of pan out there. As a Knick fan, I really want to make sure that I stack my Dadiers and my Collects and my Hawk Porties. All three of those guys look like they're going to get some minutes this year. But I'm really bullish on Kolek already. He just seems like a very likable, fun floor general. So those are the three that I don't think are necessarily going to be the most popular on the platform. But when I'm looking toward kind of anticipating the future of the Knicks and this hopefully 4 or 5 year run we're going to go on with a really solid nucleus, we're going to need those guys to really shape up and ramp up into rotation players fast. So I'll put my money behind them and get excited to kind of see how they perform.
I think it's kind of great when they're not the ones people are most sought after personally. It gives you a chance to climb and turn them into freshman gems. That's my kind of style. I'm going after Cody Williams this year.
Yeah, Cody, I mean, obviously we partnered with his brother, and we've got some stuff hopefully coming down the pipe with him. But Cody looks really solid and obviously a really cerebral player, smart guy on the court. And, Utah, I think, has a lot of reasons to not want to win. And if that is the case, hey, it's not the worst thing for rookies to get more minutes, right? And that's not to say that the rookies aren't good, but,
They've already said they're developing this year, and I would not be surprised if Utah specifically moves either Clarkson and or Sexton and frees the way for somebody like Isaiah Collier. I don't know. I think he's got potential to because I don't think Keontae's we don't need to get too far down this rabbit hole, but Keontae's not really a point guard, more of a shooting guard. I think that allows him the opportunity to do a little bit more what he does better. But anyway, we don't need enough more Jazz talk. We had Colton and L. Frampton on last week. Yeah. Too much Jazz talk.
That's the only word they can spell is Jazz.
Love y'all, by the way, Colton. Shout out L. Frampton and Colton. They're going to be in some rookie debut moments from what I understand. I think they were at the opening Jazz game, and pretty stoked on that. We should all be so fortunate.
Pretty exciting. Yeah, no, I mean, the emergent behavior of trying to scout out the opportunity in the seat for where you'll end up in a rookie debut moment is just one of the cooler things we've got going. So kudos to them.
It's the Samuel D effect right there. That's the Brandon Miller where Sam D told us he went to like every corner where he knew the camera was going to be. And then every time Brandon Miller took a shot, Sam D stands up and puts his hands in the air. And it was genius because it worked. And shout out Sam D for that.
Yeah, and shout out to, I believe, the OGs of this were Steve Veerman and Library, who Scotty Barnes' Top Shot debut got.
Oh, that's right.
So they've been ahead of the curve from day one. But no, it's been generally very awesome to see all over the country, you can include North America as a whole, just fans anticipating the rookies that they want to be associated with for life.
Yeah, it's awesome. Speaking of sets and stuff, or what about fresh threads this year? Is that coming back?
You said the word set, right?
Sets.
Okay,
Sets.
Want to make sure. I heard Triticus for a moment.
Yeah.
Sets.
I was just giving him my, reaction.
Fresh Threads is coming back, and it's coming back with really, really nice new set art. And it's going to be part of one of the things we're really excited about this year. This is going to be a blended set. So the star players in the set might end up in the higher tiers, and the lesser known guys that change teams might end up in common. But that blended set allows for people to kind of collect on their own terms. It allows for us to create some really nice trade-in behavior for the rares that are worth trading in for. So what we're looking to do there is really see how it goes with Fresh Threads, but our anticipation is people are going to want to collect the whole set. It's always been one of my favorite sets, right? As an NBA junkie, being able to follow players. I know I personally my favorite Knicks moment I own is the Jalen Brunson fresh threads, because
You're welcome.
it really marks the genesis of a new era for Knicks fans. Sorry, both Tork
and Mavs fans too. It marked for both of our teams. So
That's right.
you're welcome.
It's okay to be sad that he left and happy that he's there. Like it's not mutually exclusive. I mean, like I'm stoked for Jalen.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Absolutely, but no, like I mean, he was always going to end up back in New York. It's just better for him as a human being and better for him as a player. So I mean, I'm just happy for the organization. Like I really hope y'all do well this year. Like I don't for your sake, Jacob. Like I mean,
I do too.
Your sake? What does that mean?
Because
I
don't root for Knicks fans, and I'm rooting for Knicks fans. Well, I don't root for the Knicks, but I root for Knicks fans. And so, like Jacob,
we're rooting for you,
guys like Glenn, like man, I respect those guys. Like, I mean, I want them to do well. I want them to be happy. You know,
just maybe to put a tangible example on it, right? Like Klay Thompson's first Mavs moment, hype, exciting. You're gonna want it, right? So that's gonna be rare. Meanwhile, maybe Tim Hardaway Jr.'s first Pistons moment, maybe a little less hype and exciting. Someone that's a Pistons fan still going to want it, but that can be a common. So you're going to have that kind of variety in this set, and you're going to see that not just in this set, but in some other sets coming later this season, so that we can kind of reward moments in the tier they belong. And that's not to say we're going to totally reinvent the wheel and now throwdowns is across all the tiers. No, there are some sets that are meant to be rare and rare alone. There are some other sets that it just makes sense for there to be a little bit more variety in it.
Well, it's like the run it back, right? Back in the day, it was only a rare set.
Right.
And then now there's several tiers, right? The run it back, the origins, the legacies, which is awesome because, again, you're appealing to every level of collector and everyone can have a run it back set, which is one of the premier sets since I've been involved with TopShot. It was always a set I could never afford, but I always wanted, right? So I love it, though.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the maybe nuance here is that with fresh threads in particular, it's going to all be part of the same exact set. So the tiers are going to be blended more like anthology has been in the past, where you have legendary anthology and rare anthology. But still excited to kind of see how that plays out. And from kind of our anticipation of the set, you know, for me, I'm always going to be going after the Knicks fresh threads, but I'm not necessarily a collector of the entire set. Some people might be wanting to collect the entire set. There's kind of two different ways to do it.
Do we have any hope of any of these team rares or run it back rares allowing us to have like a wild card use or something in fast break, or are they're just going to stay on the sideline?
I'm going to demur on that question for now. I think we're looking at ways to kind of, when I think about fast break and the ways to play on TopShot that aren't like very collection driven, but are more kind of utility engagement driven, I think they're, you know, obviously fast break as a game has been a hit and there's a lot of really promising things about it. But I think we all know that that was our first game we rolled out in that fashion. And there can be many games down the road that kind of take on a bunch of different forms and shapes. So, you know, be it, and again, these are all just speculative ideas of what it could look like down the road. But, you know, survivor pools where you have to pick a team each day of the week and you can't pick that team multiple times, but maybe those could be team moments down the road, or whatever it may be, right? Like different.
That's a pretty good one.
I like it. I like it a lot. So you guys really went off with the prize pool for the first week, first iteration of this year's fast break. Are we going to have like similar prize pools throughout? I mean, maybe not courtside tickets every iteration, but Dapper for, you know, X amount top or the top 500 finishes, etc.
Yeah, I can't say specifically it's going to be the exact same every time, but there's going to be some nice prizing, certainly. And we're actually looking at ways to really expand kind of the imagination of the collectors, kind of leveraging both the connections and the partnerships we have. So courtside seats is a great example of that. But what else can we do for the fans that really tie in kind of their affinity for the NBA with kind of being expert players of fast break? I know that sounds very vague for now, but bear with me there because
it does, but it doesn't, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Jacob.
Literally tomorrow, he's going to announce everything. It's like the day after our pod, he's going to let everyone know. It's okay.
For fast break with the WNBA, you guys did that level up set. Is that something we might see with the NBA fast break, or can we not discuss that?
Yeah, so with Level Up, it was a little unique in the sense that there were a lot of WNBA players that didn't yet have rares.
Right.
That for the case of playing Fast Break specifically, you really wanted those guys or those women to have rares because it
Right.
really helps your team, your roster, your lineup that you're building. We did a pretty exhaustive audit of all of the players that don't yet have rares or legendaries on TopShot. And I'd say it's fair to suggest that it wasn't as kind of exciting of a list of players. So like doing something Level Up on that regard was definitely something we explored. I don't think we're going to end up doing it exactly like that, but there may be some specific perks and specific prizing for Fast Break for sure. But in the context, and this is no shade to the guy because he's one of my favorite players, but Isaiah Hardenstein was probably like the biggest name on that list, and then beyond that, it really drops down fast. So for having players kind of grind it out and compete and aggressively win to get, I'm not even positive he was on the list, so I don't want to insult the guy, but like Najee Marshall as the rare you get, right, may not be the most compelling reason to grind. And certainly for Mavs fans on the call and Pelicans fans that know how good Najee Marshall is, more exciting. But for the average NBA fan, maybe not someone that you're really kind of sweating it out at night trying to figure out how can I optimize my lineup to get a rare from that player because he's going to help me in future Fast Break runs.
Time out. Sweating at night is not like a common theme. Like people don't just sweat. It's not a thing. Y'all just glisten or glow. Is that the deal? Maybe I need to eat less.
I sweat fast break before I go to bed. I went out last night. I was in a panic. Took the win, and then I went down, and I was like, "Oh God!" I was up at 3 a.m. checking my lineup.
In plus minus fun, guys.
Yeah. God, CJ McCollum had me stressing, but it's all
That's
good.
Fun, though, right? I mean, like if it, like, yeah, sure you want to win, but I mean, if it was like a blowout every night, it wouldn't be interesting. Like a little sweat's never hurt anybody.
This is my lifestyle at this point. This isn't just a game. This is everything.
The stress there is when you're like 1 point away from like winning, and you're sitting there, you're like, "Come on, just give him the ball, give him the ball."
Well, what does it have you doing though? It's got you watching that game intently though, doesn't it? Just like, so I could only imagine.
For sure.
And I'm wondering if there's a way to quantify the amount of engagement or the uptick of engagement for the WNBA, for example, just based on Fast Break alone.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, it was, we had twice as many engaged player. I mean, we didn't have Fast Break on W last season, but twice as many unique purchasers of WNBA packs this season. Significantly more demand on every pack drop that we did. Even throughout the entirety of the offseason, our pack drops for W had way more hype and excitement than our on it back drops. So very interesting learnings there. And obviously you have the Caitlin effect, but guess what? Next season, we've got the Paige Beckers effect, and Juju's coming down the road as well. So the WNBA is in good shape, and it's only going to get bigger and better from here, which is awesome to see.
100%. And honestly, for me, the reason I don't go for the run it backs minus my Raptors is a Fast Break utility. Yeah. Not going to lie to you. That's why I don't go for them. They're great moments, but I'm also just like, I just want my wraps and my Fast Break, and that's why I live my life.
No, I mean, everyone has their own collecting style, and we certainly see that manifest out in the market where those packs and those moments might be a little more affordable than one might expect given kind of the significance from the history on it. But I think there are kind of two things at play here. Number one, and we see it on the NFL side too, people like collecting contemporary, and that's not too dissimilar from in cardboard as well, right? If people are collecting, they're tending to collect Anthony Edwards rather than Shaquille O'Neal, and you'll see that kind of manifest in kind of how they're priced as well. In spite of supply and demand and all that good stuff. Beyond that, I think you've also got a lot of this is on chain and a lot of optionality and opportunity for developers and builders, especially now that we have EVM compatibility between Flow and ETH, for people to build games that could use retired players as kind of, however you may want to do it, right? So, you can play with retired players in NBA 2K. What's to say you can't create a game where you can use retired players moments on TopShot? So those are all kind of things we're exploring and excited about, but not necessarily things that are imminent this week, this month, but been discussed, and certainly have gotten some inbound interest from some builders that would want to explore things like that. So that's been really exciting to kind of see, and definitely some opportunity there.
That's awesome.
Heck, yes. I was going to ask what the thing you're most excited about this year. It sounds like a lot of these in-game interactions and other things, just general excitement seems to be the theme. And I definitely feel that like the first week of the season, I feel way more involved. I mean, I'm always involved when the rookies drop, but this year it's there's a lot going on, and it's not too much. It's just right. Three bears, if you will, but or Goldilocks syndrome. There you go. I'm working on it, bro. Let me make it.
No, I love it. I'm just thinking about how many video game number moments we already have, and we're only like 5 games.
Dude, Paolo went nuts the other day. That was what he dropped the 50 burger. Talk about fast break. If you either started Paolo and won or you didn't and lost. So
correct. I mean, Jokic with just tearing it up. 40-point triple doubles. He's like
3 or 4 already.
Yeah,
like, it's just stupid.
It's insane. 4.
The Nuggets are in trouble though, right? We need to solve that problem a little bit.
It's okay. They're terrified about the Mavs. So
well, I mean, look, there are certain rosters. If you look at roster construction, just right now, I mean, there's a trade deadline, all kinds of stuff that can happen throughout the season. But right now, OKC looks like a problem. Dallas looks like they're constructed well. In the West, I don't know. Other than that, it's hard for me to say like there's a team those are the top 2, and then I don't know. Denver for sure. Like it's like they banked too much on Christian Brown to pull rank. I don't know. They're in trouble for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. It's between them and the Bucks. It feels like 2 years ago both were invincible, and now
they're invincible.
Now they're invincible. Yeah, Brett brings out his sword and lances them, and we're all fine.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know a better way to wrap it up with saying the Mavs are the best. Video game numbers is awesome. Jacob loves queso, and this season is about having fun. And just by listening to what y'all are doing, the way y'all are doing things, like it's a fun year. It's going to be a fun year. I'm looking for more fun to come. Like this is just great. I'm excited.
Beyond excited. The in real life utility, everything, guys. This is it. It's our fast breakout season.
Oh, fast breakout.
Fast breakout. And it's just week 1, guys. Just 1 weekend. Got plenty more. Can't wait for the next rookie drop, etc. Jacob, dude, it's so good to see you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time, and man, like we go way back, and so it means a lot just to get to hang out and talk, and we could nerd out all day about basketball, but yeah, man, pleasure as always, my friend.
No, thank you all so much for having me. This was great. Hope to do it again sometime. Just invite me on whenever you guys need a guest, and I'm happy to stop by. So looking forward to that. And yeah, let's have some fun this year. There's so much fun going on. And we've got a lot of stuff cooking. I teased some of it on the call. There will be some coming later on. But yeah, this is a season where I feel like between kind of the evergreen experience, the arcades, the trade-ins, the drops, the hunts for big grails at any given moment. There's just a lot coming together that we're excited about and can't wait to share even more with you very soon.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, what are you doing out here?
What are you doing?
That's it.
That's it.
I hate everything else in life, but I love all y'all.
Yeah. In case you want to drop any alpha in the future and want to have a lot of fun while doing it, you can always just call us and say, hey, I want to come on because I'm going to drop some alpha. It's not a big deal. We'll oblige, I promise. Jacob, dude, thank you. We know you have a million things and a million places you could be and things you could be doing. So we appreciate you grabbing some time with us and kind of breaking stuff down to the community, because I know this is the stuff that we want to hear, that we want to know, that the community is thinking about and asking. And so it's so great that you can come on and answer some of those questions and have fun while doing it. So thank you, man.
Thanks again. And looking forward to next time.
Episode 73 of the Collectin and Connectin podcast. Y'all have a great day. Peace out, everyone.
Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode of the Collectin and Connectin pod. And if you want to rock some merch, check out our store at Shop Collectin and Connectin in the bio on this video. Thank you all for watching. See you next Tuesday.